sometimes I work with people that I'm enamored by, especially Jessica Lange. Oh my gosh, I was in a room with her and I was like, I can't talk. I can't. And she was like, my daughter's name is Alexandra. I was like, really? Really? Your daughter's name is Alexandra? That's amazing. I'm Alexandra too. Maybe we can be friends. Oh, you're going to shoot me in the face later. Okay.
Welcome again, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. So without further ado, our guest today is an actress whose fantastic body of work includes American Horror Story, True Blood, The Walking Dead, a bazillion characters on Family Guy, and of course, Virgin River. Please welcome Alexandra Breckenridge. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good today, considering the current climate of the world. Although, you know what? Because I live in Georgia. I don't know if anybody is aware of that. I live in the forest, like deep. I don't live in the city of Atlanta. But they just opened up vaccinations to everyone from 16 and up in Georgia. So anyways, things are looking up here.
That's very good. I'm just south of you in Florida. So so we're stately neighbors.
Yes. Nice.
Yes, it is. First of all, that's an interesting array of black and white photography you got behind you.
Yes, it is. I've had this for a while. We just moved in December, but I had it in my old office too. But nobody, like if I was doing this in my old office, you would never see it because it was like on the wall in front of me. So I decided to move it back here. And yeah, it's just some people that I admire and some like powerful couples. I don't know. I got into that for a while. I don't really understand what that was about. Yeah.
No.
And then there's Billie Holiday is up there. That's that was the inspiration for my daughter's name. So.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Very nice indeed. Well, I'll say the interesting thing about again this online format is that we get little some of people's homes. Yes, we do. Peek at the inner workings of the mind. Get to meet pets occasionally. The kid will come by as Daddy's working right now. Anyway, so my episode of So sorry,
yes. But I sent my children off. They're off. They're not coming in.
All right.
Because I was like, that's disruptive. Although I'm sure it would be very cute because they're adorable. But
we at GalaxyCon Live and the GalaxyCon virtual stage, we love it when all that happens. So no worries. And as always at GalaxyCon, we are looking forward to the day where we're getting there, where we can once again host you and celebrities like you at our physical stages and get you back in front of your fans. In the meantime, we have this online forum. Our team is going through the chat room right now and pulling out the questions. In the meantime, whenever I have a solo guest, I just always like to throw this out. What drew you to becoming a performer?
Well, it's kind of a hard question. I don't know. When I was little, I was little. Everybody loves watching movies when they're kids, don't they? So I was, I loved movies. I was that was my thing. I could go into another world and I didn't have to be in my world of childhood, right? It sounds kind of depressing, but then I got into doing community theater at the age of 11 or 12. And I just really enjoyed it. And I liked character acting. I did, I played a drunk once when I was 12. I had never drank before. And it was great. It was a lot of fun to just slip on somebody else's shoes, so to speak. And so that's my main goal when I started acting was to become a character actor. I don't really do it, unfortunately. Currently I play like sort of versions of myself, but I always loved Gary Oldman. He was like, I was like, he can morph himself into some amazing creatures and humans. And I admire him so much.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. He's mercurial in his roles but he doesn't seem to go as far as the method actor where they live as the person for a month or any of that stuff. He just seems like, all right, boom, let's do it. So
he doesn't, does he? I don't know. I haven't read it.
I don't know. I don't think he's on that sort of extreme. I think he's just
he's not in the Daniel Day-Lewis category of people that just like live in it forever and ever.
Yeah, I think he just gets in the makeup chair, does a little research, just like, all right, he makes his choices. I
love him even more now.
There you go. I could be wrong. As I would say, I read about this a while ago when he was getting into for Sid and Nancy, so which dates me. But
God, he was so good in that movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what? You've been a part of so many what I call fandoms. I mean, like I said in the introduction, Walking Dead, American Horror Story. One show though that I was really fond of. I was a big fan of Dirt.
Oh, and, you did?
Yeah, I really was. It was so weird because it was the type of show that on paper, it's like, you watch Dirt? I'm like, yeah, you know, and I had a soft spot for it. And again, what a fantastic cast. I thought it was sharp writing. And anytime you can get Vincent Gallo and Paul Rubens, you know, it's like on a show, it's like, I'm sold.
That's true. I always wondered if he was a friend of Courtney's or of David Arquette's or something. I didn't know how he ended up on the show. I think I met him when I was working on that show. I didn't have any scenes with him, but
yeah,
that was a fun show. You know, that was actually my first show that I did that I was a series regular on. The first season I was just a recurring guest star, but it was a big thing for me to get. I had been doing pilots forever and ever. And, you know, I had been the lead of pilots before and stuff that never ended up going. But yeah, I kind of stumbled upon that part. And then it became such a big part on the show. I was like, oh, damn, I'm in this a lot.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. It was fun. That was that was a really fun environment to work on. I liked that show.
Absolutely. And so many people are so used to your in-person roles, but 65 episodes of Family Guy. How did that relationship begin?
I came in and I auditioned for a guest star. I auditioned for the guest star of a part I ended up doing, which was this. Are we still saying lesbian or are we saying gay now?
I think both terms are acceptable.
Okay. I don't want to, I'm very sensitive to, I don't want to say the wrong thing. You know,
I have homosexual female friends who refer themselves as lesbians and very proud of that word. So
cool. Okay, great. Great. Perfect. My friend who's gay was talking to me about this like literally the night before last. And I was like, I need to get all of these terms correct because I don't want to be insensitive to anyone. And I feel like I don't know. And it's a process to learn. And anyways, I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole other thing. So I had for this lesbian that went to school with Meg, and then Meg's in this group. And it was a whole series of, I don't know if you remember this episode.
I do. I do remember this episode. Yes.
Yeah. So that's how it started. And then I just kind of like, I hit off with Seth, like as friends, we were just goofing around when I would come in and do voiceovers. So then they just started calling me back more and more. And yeah, I ended up doing that many. And then he kind of like, wasn't really producing the show as much anymore. And then new people came in and produced. And so I haven't been on it, but which is fine. I did 65 episodes. It's totally,
yeah, absolutely.
For somebody who never did voiceover work before, I was like, that's great. Thank you.
That's good.
I would like to do some more like voiceover work on something else, but
it's animation is a great pickup gig. You know, you go in for 4 hours and absolutely.
Yeah,
so
very true.
So our audience, let me know we're good to go on our audience questions. So let's go ahead and convert over to them. And thank you for indulging mine. Our first one comes from Daphne, and wants to know what has been your favorite role to play so far.
This is a question I get frequently. And it's always kind of funny because I think my experience filming and the role that I'm playing kind of like creep in on each other. So sometimes I'll have maybe a better experience doing a role than I did filming a project, right? Or I had a better experience filming a project than I did doing the role on the project. But specifically to role, as I was saying earlier, one of my goals was to become a character actor, and I would say the most character role that I have done would be Moira from American Horror Story. That and Monique from She's the Man. So I had a lot of fun playing those parts. Moira was especially enjoyable because I'm obviously not overtly sexual of a person. I don't walk around in tiny little outfits. And so it was interesting to just like, as I said before, like put myself in that person's shoes and really unabashedly get into that kind of character and that kind of overt sexuality was really interesting, because as an actor, I like to like draw those parts of myself out for a role. Like if a person is extremely sweet or extremely nasty, or in this case, extremely sexual, then I can find that place within myself where I can like bring it to the surface more. And so, yeah, that was my favorite role that I've played.
Absolutely fair. Daphne, wonderful. Great question. Hey, what do we have next? From Henriqueta. I hope I got close to that. I apologize. Which of your characters was the most difficult to play?
Let's see. The most difficult to play. It might also be Moira. It might also be character because I had to do work to pull that part of myself to the surface, I would say. And also I was intimidated by the cast. Sometimes I work with people that I'm enamored by, especially Jessica Lange. Oh my gosh, I was in a room with her and I was like, I can't talk. I can't. And she was like, my daughter's name is Alexandra. I was like, really? Like, your daughter's name is Alexandra? That's amazing. I'm Alexandra too. Maybe we can be friends. Oh, you're going to shoot me in the face later. Okay. She was very nice though. But yes, so that's my answer, is Moira was also the hardest, Absolutely. My favorite character to play and the hardest character that I've played.
Absolutely. Well, you did it with zeal. And
I haven't seen it in years. Like I can't, sometimes I see GIFs and stuff, or like people will post things on Instagram with, of a gift of me bending over and all sorts of things. And I'm like, oh, wow. It's weird to see now because it's not me at all in any. Yeah.
Yes, I'll confess this. I was watching it this season with my lady friend, and your scenes in that character got a little bump. Like, hey, you're staring a little too hard. Sorry.
Yeah,
I think that's the girl from Dirt. Yeah,
that's the point, right? So
yes,
thank you. That's great. That was what we were going for.
Yes, and also again, great show, and it was nice to see it come back in Coven as well. So
yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I was hoping to do a little bit more, but oh well, whatever.
Showbiz. And Henrica, thank you very much. What's next? And here's from Melina. If you weren't an actress, what would you want your job to be?
That's a great question. When I was younger, I loved forensic files, and I always, I was like, gosh, I would love to do something involving forensic files, something like, testing DNA or understanding how to test for fingerprints, or, in that field. As an expert in that field, I thought would be fun for a while. When I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a potter. And then a few years ago, I almost quit acting and became a photographer full time. So,
wow.
Yeah. And I ended up getting a job that stopped me from doing that. And I can't remember what it was. That's happened a few times where I'm like, I'm just going to become a photographer. I can't deal with the acting thing anymore. There's too much rejection. I can't do it. And then I always end up getting a job that keeps me in it. And I was like, this is what I do now. It's to go back. Like, this is the thing.
I just, from the interviews I've had over the years and from my own experiences in entertainment, it's always right when you're about ready to tap out, the email or the call. I'm like, hey, are you able to come in and read? Yeah, so it's always good. Out of curiosity, what facet of photography were you interested in?
Well, I used to do I did cityscapes for a while, and portrait. I liked portrait photography. I started trying to learn lighting to do more of like fashion photography or editorial, because I thought, well, that's probably something that you would be able to book more and actually make money at, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a better avenue. So I bought a couple strobe kits, and I was like if you go on my website, which is just my name, alexandrabreckenridge.com, you'll see a few actresses on there that have been my friends over the years. And so that was kind of like what I was testing around. I was screwing around if I could do that. And I did okay. It was okay. I could probably get better at it if I tried harder, but now I'm acting all the time. So I haven't been doing photography.
Well, those acting roles, geez.
I know, but I clearly have a great love for photography. I mean, all of the books on my desk are photography books. So,
and there's a precedence. A lot of really fine actors I admired had a very keen interest in photography, very active on it on the side. So,
I think it's a visual element of reality. It's very much like film, but it's a still, right? And like Kubrick, an amazing photographer and filmmaker, because he had eye for incredible composition, and the mood he created was, paired with the composition and the acting and the scripts. It was really like, what a loss that was. He was fantastic.
Everything mattered to him. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just his art directors were all driven crazy. No, like the cup needs to be a little to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas other directors like, all right, where's my talent? There's your mark. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so and Alita, thank you. That was a great question. What do we have next?
Mm-hmm.
From Julia, what was the most difficult part of acting on Virgin River?
Well, in the first season, I cried a lot. I don't know if you remember. Did a lot of crying, and that was really hard. It's I don't think I ever faked crying on Virgin River, because, well, I don't generally do that, but when I was younger, I think I had to kind of do that a little bit, because it's like if you get nervous and the second you get nervous and you're at work and you have to cry and you're like, okay, here's the button and I have to cry. That's not where you should approach it from.
Yeah.
You have to just be there and be in the moment as the character and have the empathy for the situation that this person is going through, and, really be present. And so I was really present every time that I had those hard scenes to do. So that was difficult. And I feel like I gave myself PTSD from doing that role, because of all of her loss was so heavy. I ended up pulling out a lot of my own loss, pulling it up while I was playing the character. And it was really hard to shake off when I came home. Like, to be completely honest about it, I was like bawling, half the time during the day, had a headache by the time I came home. And then, it was just hard. It's hard to like leave that. And I'm sure at a certain point, actors that are, have been doing it a lot longer than I have, and, a little more mature, or maybe they went to like Tisch in New York and they're fancy and they're like well-trained, or they like did intensive work in London and whatnot.
I got my equity card at age 12.
Yes. Maybe they know how to leave it at the door, but I was not formally trained. I mean, I took acting, classes up until probably the age of like 22. And then the rest of it, I've just been learning as I went. So the long answer to your question. That's the long answer to your question.
There you go. We got some insight into how you approach your profession.
Yeah.
Although those people call it the craft, I'm a little.
You don't have to call it a craft. That's ridiculous. Goofy.
I've been doing it for 13 years. But Julia, thank you. Great question.
I don't say my craft.
I call it the business. That's just me personally.
It's a business. It is a business.
Yeah. So, and Julia, thank you for a fun question. What do we have next? From Brittany. What was it like working with Martin Henderson?
Oh, I love Martin. Martin and I get along like peas and carrots. So thank God. Otherwise, it would be hard. It would be hard to have to cry all day and then not have a good friend on set with me. So Martin's very funny, as you can see from his Instagrams and whatnot. And he's also really smart and really lovely person to work with.
It's always good to have one set buddy or one play buddy that you bond with, and
it is
good rapport.
Well, I think that because we're quite good friends, and I think that that's what helps us in the parts that we have to play, because we have good chemistry naturally as friends, and so it's really helpful for the that we have that. Yeah, we get along really well.
Very much so. And Brittany, thank you. Great question. What's next? Here's one from Laura. Do you speak any other languages?
I wish I spoke another language. I'm sorry. I know.
If you could learn another language,
lazy.
What do you think you'd speak?
I would like to, Spanish would be really useful. And I'm Italian and French, so I would like to learn those languages. I think I don't have enough confidence. I'm like scared that I'm going to try, and I'm not very good at the English, at English to begin with. So I'm like, if I try to learn a foreign language, I think I'm going to fail. That's what stops me from learning.
Fair, not a problem.
Which is not a good reason. Right?
Well, like you said before, you're working. So, Laura, thank you. Fun question. What's next? And here's one from Mel. Do you or have you ever done your own stunts and action scenes?
Let's see. Yes, I have. In the last season of Virgin River, there's actually a scene where I got thrown to the ground, and I did have a stunt double. Lovely actress, actually, who lives in Vancouver, who I worked on a Hallmark movie with, Love in Store, I think is what they ended up calling it. She was an actress in that, and she ended up being my stunt double on Virgin River, but I think they just ended up using all of the stunt work that I had done, because I basically was doing the same thing she was doing. I was just falling to the ground. Sure. Also, there was this show. Does anybody remember that show, Medium?
Yes.
So yes. I played this character who commits suicide by jumping off of a mountain, a cliff. And so they had me rigged up on a green. Kept dropping me. You couldn't even tell it was me. Oh, wow. So they didn't actually need to do that.
Yeah.
Because it was a blur going past the screen, but I did it anyway. And then I was like, do I get paid extra to do my own stunts or what?
I was about to say, get some hazard pay or something, yeah. Some rigging pay or whatever,
Yeah.
So like that. All right. Indeed. So, all right. Mel, thank you. Good one. What do we have next? Hey, here's one from Golden Fish. What is your favorite meal ever?
my gosh, this is the hardest question. It's kind of like asking somebody what their favorite movie is, and you can only pick one. And I always have a hard time with that. I'm like, what do I? My favorite meal. Ugh. I love sushi. I also love mac and cheese and hot dogs. Those are my answers. But I also love really good kale salad. Sorry. I know a lot of people think that's gross, but
No, it's fine. No, sushi is I
like
consider it
fresh.
adult
I like
taste.
fresh food. It makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Sushi?
absolutely. Sushi is a very adult
people
food.
Don't like sushi.
And because I love sushi, but I didn't get into it till much later. And of course, mac and cheese and hot dogs. That's a comfort favorite of my kiddom. So yeah, just depends on your mood.
Exactly.
And your dining company.
It sure does.
So, and Goldenfish, thank you. Fun one. What's next? Juliana, they want to know, who are some of your favorite actors and actresses?
Well, as I said before, I love Gary Oldman. Sorry, it's repetitive. I love Meryl Streep. I don't think that that's a person you can I was just on a plane yesterday, and I was watching The Undoing, and Nicole Kidman is fantastic. She's a fantastic actress. Not that I didn't think so before. What was that movie she did where she played this like psychotic news anchor? What's that called? To Die For?
Oh, I think so. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll add that to my list.
It's you haven't seen it?
No, I don't think that was blipped on my radar. And usually I do really enjoy her work. I don't think I've seen that one. I know of it. Yeah, Gus Van Sant, directed by.
Yeah, you gotta watch that. To Die For is a fantastic movie. It's all sorts of effed up. I'm not going to say the F word. Who else? I don't know. I'm blanking. Daniel Day-Lewis is an obvious choice. Like I don't know. There's so many amazing actors and actresses. Rachel Weisz, I love her.
Oh.
Oh my God, what's her name? Who just played in The Crown? Who was in that movie with Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone? Oh my God, my brain's not working. Olivia Colman?
Yeah, Olivia Colman. Yes,
she's really good. I like her because she's not trying to do anything. She just is. That's my favorite kind of acting. It just happens.
Yeah.
Somebody's just there and it's all just happening. It's a conversation. It's not pre-planned. It's not,
What's my motivation?
Yeah. It's not like any of these like weird, if somebody goes, I'm like, fucking get out of here. Oh, I said it. I said the F word. Oh no.
No, it's like
I wasn't going to.
No, we're all, if your fans were watching American Horror Story or The Walking Dead, I think they can handle the occasional F-bomb, especially the ignominious way your character departed The Walking Dead, which was, it's
pretty, and that was pretty hard. That was hard to shoot. That was sad and upsetting to watch a little boy's head get bitten into.
Yes. But Juliana, you gave us a fun question, and we'll spit out our zombies into the next one. What do we have? So Christy, will you be returning to This Is Us?
Oh wow, I wish I could answer that.
Then there you go. That's things. There are things about showbiz.
Tell you anything.
They can't say. That's fine. That's fine. We'll look forward to hopefully revisiting this in a few weeks.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe you'll have an answer for us.
Fingers
and we'll
crossed.
leave it at that. And Christy, check back with us in a few weeks. And over to Alita. If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a really good question. A superpower? I've never thought about this before because it's just something that I can't have. Oh, dang. What would my superpower be? Oh no, I've never thought about this before. You caught me completely off guard. What would your superpower be?
To sing like Freddie Mercury. That's always my standard answer when that comes up. God, which people say is not a superpower, and I'm like, obviously you've never seen Freddie Mercury at his prime.
That is so true. Oh my God. I mean, if we're talking about singers, I would sing like Etta James or Ella Fitzgerald.
Ooh. Yeah. 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 That's
like butter.
That's a superpower in my book.
That's a secret fantasy of mine, is to be like a jazz blues singer, but I don't have the chops for it. So yeah. Well, when I was younger, I played guitar and I was singing a lot, and I was into musical theater, and I decided that I couldn't do both acting and being a musician. So I picked acting because it seemed like I didn't have to find a band to act. I was like, It's just me. So maybe that'd be easier. And you know what? I would have been a terrible singer, so it's fine.
I think you would have done all right. But the road less traveled and all
It's a really hard industry. It's really sad. It's sad. Something has to turn around.
Coming from a professional actress, yes. If they're saying it's art industry, there you go. And Alita, thank you. Fun one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do we have next? And here's from Suzanne. If your life was made into a movie, what songs would be on the soundtrack? All right, we're going down some musical.
Oh my God. All right, guys. I'm going to give you, listen, I have it already. Don't worry. I have this. I have it in here, I think. Let me see. Okay. Now, I would add to this, but currently, this is, okay, so the playlist that I have in my phone for the movie that I have in my head that I'm trying to write about my childhood, I'm just going to give you these. Now, if I was doing a movie about my adult life, the songs would be different, and I don't have that playlist for you yet. I'll make one eventually. But for my childhood, around the age of like 7, 8, 9, 10, I've got Diamonds and Pearls from Prince.
Okay.
I've got, now this is all stuff. Now this is a mix of stuff that I was listening to at this age and like making up my own dance routines in my bedroom when I pretended to be sick and got out of going to school all the time. Which is what I did. And I literally never went to school. Paula Abdul, The Way That You Love Me. Paula Abdul, Straight Up. Whitney Houston from The Bodyguard, Run to You. I'm Every Woman. That's also on the Roxette. Have you ever heard of Roxette? It Must Have Been Love. It must have been love,
but it's over now.
Yes. Yeah. En Vogue. My Lovin' and Free Your Mind. Mariah Carey, Fantasy. Prince, 1999. Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. Queen, Don't Stop Me Now. Fat Bottom Girls by Queen. Under Pressure. Right Said Fred, I'm Too Sexy. Obviously. This is like, you asked me the right question because I already had this on hand.
Yeah.
Enya. I don't even know how to say this. I don't know how to pronounce this. Ebudia. It's Ebudae.
Ebudia.
Anyways, Ebudia. So, Enya. So, if you guys are Googling at home, put it on. It's hysterical. So sometimes I'll have my husband put this on if we're hanging out with friends or something, and then I start doing interpretive dance. It's very bizarre. And Jimmy Cliff, I can see clearly now. Elton John, Better Off Dead.
That is a fantastic playlist. It really is. That's
what I was listening to at that age. I was listening to a lot of Queen.
I would watch this movie and buy the soundtrack.
Great. Well, if I ever get around to writing past 11 pages, then maybe I'll make it into a feature.
You'll get there. You'll absolutely get there. And let's go ahead and roll another one. From Hannah, if you could play in any other series, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. If I could play in any other series. Oh, well, I loved The Queen's Gambit recently. I recently watched that and I was like envious. I was like, oh, I wish I was in that show. I loved Game of Thrones. So yeah, that was like a fantasy. I was like, do they need anybody in it? Like I could just like walk around in the background or something.
Well, there's the new one. The new one's it's coming back. They're doing a prequel Game of Thrones series with Matt Smith, the former Doctor Who.
Oh my God.
Yes. So it's out there.
But I'm not English. I feel like you have to be like, you have to have an English accent to do this show.
Anything is possible.
Don't you? Well,
it is a prequel series, and I think there'll be some. I think a friend of mine told me real quick. Oh, there's characters from other lands and other continents that periodically show up. So yes, other non-European accents maybe.
That would be so fun. But I might be shooting Virgin River for like the rest of my life, so we'll see.
Hey, I'm a big Tim Matheson man myself, so right, more power to everybody. And thank you, Hannah. Great question. What's next? And here's another one from Lino. Oh, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about this the other day, and I was like, if anybody ever asked me that, what would it be? I have a few. I have a few of them. I don't like it when people put like their clothes or their jackets on the counter, like the island or like the kitchen counter. I don't enjoy that. My children leave their crap all over the house. I don't like a really wet dish towel. Like if it's been used all day and it gets wet and then it has that stink.
And it's cold.
It's cold and it's stinky and it's like a mildewy, stinky, nasty smell. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So I have a trick for that. Use vinegar, white vinegar.
Yeah.
With hot water in the wash. It gets it out.
Yep.
And I don't like it when the soap thing, the soap pump has soap all over the container. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like it.
Then it cakes up and it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to say.
Little balls
soap can go bad.
Of white in people's mouths when they have really dry mouth. The white, or the spit line. Mm-mm. See, I told you I have quite a few of them. Go on. I'm gonna stop there.
That's fine. That's a good sampling. And Alita, thank you. That was a good question. Here's one from Gio. What are your favorite cities that you have visited?
Tokyo, Sydney, Melbourne, country Bali. I'm not really going to say a city in Bali, but yeah. Love New Zealand. And what other favorite cities?
I don't think there's anyone who's ever been to I don't think there's any human being who's been to New Zealand and said they hated it. Everybody I've known.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think you could.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible.
So absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So Gio, fun one. Thank you. Yeah, what do we have next from Val? Do you feel that you identify with Mel?
That's an interesting question. identify with Mel. On some levels, yes, not entirely. But I try to bring more of myself into the character than I think is already on the page.
Sure.
So yeah, in some ways I do identify with Mel, and I've definitely personally experienced loss in my life and horrible circumstances. So that, yeah, in those areas, I do, but I didn't ever just leave the city I lived in to run away from my grief and my problems. I was very well aware of the fact that it's just going to take some time, and you have to just, deal with it.
Yeah.
So whereas Mel was more, she was like, I'm going to flee and then it's not going to follow me.
Yeah. True. Very true. Val, thank you. It was a very good question. I think we have time for one more. Let's see if we can roll out on a really fun one. And this is going to come from Francis. In all your acting years, what was your favorite moment or experience?
No pressure at all. Yeah. What was my favorite moment or experience? Oh my gosh. That's a really hard question. That's a really hard question.
How about this? What was one of your favorite? I break it up. So, okay, if there's one that does come to mind, you don't have to try to boil it down to the all-time favorite. But if there's,
well, I don't know. Recently, when the last times I went back to do an episode of This Is Us, I had worked really hard to get into the emotional place that the character was in that episode, and they were paying me a lot of very kind compliments about the work that I was doing on the show, and that was really nice because it's hard, you work so hard at something, and of course you want the validation, right? Yeah. That you did the work correctly, because especially if you're pouring a part of your soul onto the screen, you really you'd be like, I poured my soul out. Did you catch that, or was it wrong? So yeah, it was really nice. Dan Fogelman was giving me very kind compliments, and our director of the episode and Justin was also very sweet about it. So that was nice.
That'll work. Alex, this has been an absolute delight. Any final words for our audience before we go?
Fun. I just, thanks guys. Thanks for coming and paying an interest in watching me chit chat. Just sign up, and if you have any other questions that you want to ask me, I'm here. I'm here for the next few hours. I'm all yours.
Here for the next few hours, and it's AlexandraBreckenridge.com is your site where we can see some of your photography.
You can see my photography there. It hasn't been updated in forever, but yeah, that's what I used to do. Maybe I'm better at it now. I don't know. Maybe I should pick up my camera again.
We'll see.
Clear in my future.
Alex, again, thank you for joining us at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to our audience for joining us here today, and thank you all for those great questions. Hope to see you all again soon. Until then, bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.